Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad to have you back. As always, my name is Rums and I'm the owner of Rums Cakes. I hope you've had a good week. I know for a lot of you may have been celebrating Valentine's, which I believe was yesterday. So I hope you've spent plenty of time with your loved ones, told them how much you care. And even if you didn't have anybody, just spend time with your family or even called your family just to tell them how much you miss and adore them. I know I do love my family. So for all my friends and families out there, love you guys. So yeah, this week we're continuing on with our theme, which is chocolate. Being the month of February, that's what we're talking about this month. So yeah, I'm hoping that you liked my video from last week with my heart-shaped brownies. This week we're continuing the theme, not so much on the love theme, more so just the love of chocolates. So I hope you will join me this week in making my Reeses Pieces Devil Food Cake, which is a layer cake, chocolate cake, filled with a peanut butter ganache, covered in a chocolate buttercream and drizzled with caramel and dark chocolate. So I hope you enjoy this video. Hopefully the steps will be easy for you to follow. Any questions, as always, put them on the comment bar below. And of course, yeah, just hope you enjoy what I'm about to show you. Take care. For this recipe, you're going to need flour, cocoa powder, caster sugar, dark chocolate, butter, boiling water, Reeses Pieces, and eggs. For the first step, you need to cream together the butter until it's light and fluffy. This will take a bit of time, especially if the butter wasn't completely at room temperature, which mine wasn't. So let it cream on its own. At this point, scrape down the sides, and then you're going to add the caster sugar to the butter when I finally do it. And add the caster sugar, and then you're going to mix it again till this mix goes light and fluffy. You'll notice that the butter goes a slightly whiter colour than the yellow colour that it is now. So that's the kind of consistency and colour that you're looking for when mixing the butter and the sugar together. Let it go for quite a while. At this point, the mix is quite light in colour, as you can see. I've scraped down the sides of the bowl as well. So now I'm going to add one egg at a time, and I'm also going to add a few tablespoons of flour as well at a time, rather than putting it all in at one go. Otherwise it will just knock out all the air that we've worked so hard to achieve. So yeah, add one egg and a couple of tablespoons of flour at a time, and just let it mix. Don't watch the mess. This is the lowest speed my mixer goes at, that's why it's just throwing it all over the shop, but don't worry about that. And then again, add an egg and some flour, and just let it mix together until you've done all of it. The next stage is putting in the boiling water into the cocoa powder. It's approximately 8 tablespoons, but with cocoa powder it's pretty much trial and go. So you just put in a few tablespoons of water. I think I counted to 8 or 10 at this point. And then stir it. As you can see, it's still quite rough, so just pour in the water really, until you get a good smooth paste. You want it quite stiff, but still it should be able to move in the bowl quite easily. So keep adding water and just be patient with it. It will become what you want it to. I know the first time I did this I wasn't really sure, but yeah, just keep adding the water. As you can see, it's becoming a smooth paste. Just keep it going, and eventually it will look like melted chocolate, which is the consistency that you're looking for. Now we're going to be using what we call a double boiler, which is basically a bowl over a saucepan of hot water. We're going to melt the chocolate on a low to medium heat. This takes some time as well, but like with everything in baking, patience is key. So we're just going to melt the chocolate until it's smooth. You don't want it to get too hot. You'll notice the bowl goes a little bit warm. Make sure the bowl doesn't touch the water. That's very important. As if by magic, my chocolate has melted. Okay, obviously not by magic, but the point is, you can tell it's been sitting on the water for quite some time. At some point, you just can turn off the heat and just let the residual heat do the work. Now, add the dark chocolate to that cocoa powder mix and add it all into the cake mix, which is now completely combined. As you can see, it's a light colour. There's a lot of air in there. We've worked hard to get that air because we want the cake to be really light and moist. So yeah, add the chocolate to the mix and then combine. And again, as always, once you've got flour in the mix, remember not to over mix. It's very important. Otherwise, your cake is going to go really hard and tough. And we're not in the business of making hard and tough cakes, are we? No. So yeah, mix it until it's well combined at this point. When the mix is done, I like to weigh my mix just to know how much I'm working with. So as you can see, it's about 2 kilos. I've got my tins buttered and floured, and they've also, sorry about the light, they've also got greaseproof paper on the bottom just to ensure that they don't stick. So once you've weighed your mix, then you can actually separate them between the 2 bowls. So you know each tin is going to get roughly about 1 kilo of mix, give or take, to ensure that they're both the same. So both cakes end up being the same weight. And also that means they'll cook at the same time, which means it will be consistency right across the board, which is what you're looking for. So yeah. So using an offset spatula or a spoon or a knife or whatever you've got basically, you need to just basically level off the mix. I know I said 1 kilo, that's a lie. It's about 600 grams in each tin because 2 kilos was the total with the mixing bowl. So I think the mix ended up being about 1.2 kilos or thereabouts. So in each tin there's about 600 grams, and keep spreading it until it's completely flat. So that also means you won't get a massive heap at the top of your cake. At this point we're going to make the chocolate ganache. The cakes should have baked and should be on a rack cooling. Those 2 little extra ones were just extra mix. So basically what I'm going to do is heat up the cream until it starts to bubble, and we've got some dark chocolate on the side which we will use for the ganache. So keep heating up the cream. You'll notice it will start to bubble gently, and once it gets to that temperature, pour it over the chocolate. It's going to look like this for a little while. Don't worry, again, be patient. It will normalize and eventually it will look like melted chocolate, which is the consistency as you can see here. Nice and smooth and thick, and that's the consistency that we're looking for because that's spreadable, because we're going to use this as part of the filling for the cake. So keep stirring it until all the lumps of chocolate are completely gone at this point, and then we'll move on to the peanut butter filling. So you'll need peanut butter, caster sugar and milk and vanilla for this recipe. Obviously we're using Reese's Pieces for the cake. So beat up the peanut butter on its own just for a little bit until it's light or lighter than when it came out of the jar. That's practically a whole jar of peanut butter there, just so you know. Then add the icing sugar all in one go, and then make sure you cover it with a towel, otherwise you will be covered in snow. I was earlier. So yeah, mix it all together, the peanut butter and the icing sugar. It's going to look like breadcrumbs. Don't be concerned, because what we're going to do then is we're going to add the milk to the mix, and then it will normalize as well, and it will become nice and smooth like this, as you can see. So just keep that going. What you want to do is keep it moving until it's really, really easy to spread. otherwise it will be difficult for the cake. For the buttercream, we're going to be using butter, icing sugar and melted dark chocolate. So what you need to do is to beat the butter, again getting nice and light and fluffy and adding air into it, and then you're going to add the icing sugar and just let that go until it doubles in size and is really light and fluffy. Meantime, melt the chocolate. You can do it as always in a saucepan, double boiler, microwave. It's really up to you. I like using my cast iron pot, so I melt my chocolate over the heat and it does it really quick. And then once the chocolate's melted and a little bit cool, you add it to the butter and icing sugar and you just let it whip until it's nice and light and really, really easy to spread, because what you want is to be able to spread this all over the cake without too much drama. So yeah, just let it go and let it whip on its own. So I've cut the cake into 4 even layers, as you can see here, and the first layer will start with spreading the peanut butter filling over the top, and then we'll spread the dark chocolate ganache over the top of that, and we'll repeat the process until all 4 layers have been stacked with peanut butter and dark chocolate ganache. And this is what it looks like. When it's your first time, it's going to be a little bit uneven, but don't worry, as you get the hang of it, it will become better. I still mess up a little bit. Then the next step is to add the chocolate buttercream and spread it all over the cake as evenly as you can. Put the cake in the fridge just to harden a little bit. I lost some footage here at this point, so basically what you need to do is cover the cake in dark chocolate, melted dark chocolate all over the top. At this point, you can decorate the cake however you like. You can keep it plain, or you can add chocolate swirls over the top like I've done here, and also add the Reeses pieces as well. So here's the finished article. As you can see, I have swirled caramel sauce and dark chocolate over the top, as well as added the Reeses pieces. You're pretty much free to do as you like, basically however you like it. Decorate it in the way you think is best. I thought this looked quite good. But yeah, so basically just add whatever you want to add to it. You can go as crazy or as not as crazy as you like. It's really up to you. Decorating is really in the eye of the beholder, so whoever's making it. I'm going to cut into it so that you can see what it's like on the inside. The layers aren't obvious, but when you look close, you'll be able to tell that there is peanut butter and dark chocolate ganache. It's not very smart really cutting with one hand. You're gonna see what's gonna happen in a second, but it's all good. You get the gist of what I'm trying to achieve so that you can have a look and see what it's like on the inside. So here we go. I'll probably end up dropping it, but hey ho, such is life. Yeah, I dropped it. But yeah, so you can get an idea as to how dense and rich this cake is. I promise you, you only need like a slither of a slice. I had like a mouthful and I was good. So yeah, just so you can sort of see inside. It's a rich cake, but it's well worth it. Well, that was the video for my Reeses Pieces Devil Food Cake. I hope you enjoyed making it. I hope the steps weren't too difficult for you to follow. I really did enjoy teaching and showing you how to do it. So yeah, this is the end of my video. As always, please follow me on my social media. There will be a link somewhere for all my Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, etc. Do continue to follow me on my social media. Please share, please subscribe, let everybody know what I'm about. Rums Cakes is here to stay. And of course, as always, if there's anything that you need me to make for you, whether it be a birthday cake or a celebration cake or anything like that really, as always, get in touch. The email address is down below. And music makers, as always, please do get in touch. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope to see you again next week. Well, we'll be looking at red velvet and everything red velvet. I know there is a few of you that do love my red velvet cake, so I'll be doing something along those lines next week. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope you have a great week. God bless and take care. Bye.